Greetings, friends, and welcome to The Bright Side, your nutritional program dedicated to the understanding of the vast world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. I am your host, Pharmacist Ben, nutritional pharmacist from Boulder, Colorado. I use nutritional supplements where other healthcare practitioners use toxic pharmaceutical drugs and sometimes deadly medical procedures. If you suspect that there are natural nutritional roads to your health and vitality and well-being and to addressing your health challenges, whatever they may be, but you don't know where to begin, you have come to the right place. As you listen to The Bright Side every day, you are more and more in control of your body, you are more and more knowledgeable, and you know you can overcome any health challenge. That is why we are here. Every day on The Bright Side, helping clear up the sometimes confusing world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. Over the last 3 decades plus of practicing pharmacy, I have seen drug-free recoveries from diabetes, hypertension, obesity, skin diseases like psoriasis, eczema, rosacea, acne, digestive ailments, autoimmune issues of all kinds, recoveries that by the standards of modern medicine can only be called a miracle, but what is in the world of the body, what is in the world of biology, standard operating procedure. Because the human biological system is a healing and regenerating system. It's designed divinely to heal and renew itself on a moment-to-moment basis. And while that may seem like a miracle to some folks, this renewing system is really nothing more than just the way the body works. And thanks for joining us on The Bright Side, friends. Pharmacist Ben here. 844-236-6010 is our number. We want to hear from you on this day or week number 2, I think, in Colorado anyway, of coronavirus quarantine, coronavirus mania, coronavirus craziness. We're going to talk to Deke Copenhaver at the bottom of the hour. He's a motivational speaker with a very apropos topic. Do you have all 7 attributes to be a change maker? A change maker specifically in business. Deke is the former mayor of Augusta, Georgia, and he's also the author of a book called The Change Maker, The Art of Building Better Leaders. And this is a time when we need to step up and be leaders in our families, be leaders with our friends, be leaders with those in our community. Just be leaders of ourselves. Lead ourselves. Be a change maker and a leader ourselves. Change requires a leap of faith, according to Deke Copenhaver, and he's absolutely right. There's a leap of faith that has to happen because, by definition, change is something different. We don't really know what happens when there's changes. And the irony of life is everything changes. The irony of life is we hate change, and yet everything changes. We're doomed to suffer. Check that out. We are doomed to suffer because we inherently hardwired into our brains, genetically, however you want to call it, however you want to refer to it, we are hardwired specifically to hate change, to want safety. Yet, change and lack of safety is inevitable, so we are doomed to suffer if we don't understand the mechanism. So Deke's going to talk to us today about 7 attributes to be a change maker, and I found that very interesting because yesterday I was reading a book by Neil Donald Walsh called When Everything Changes, Change Everything. In the time of turmoil, a pathway to peace. This is all about how you deal with changes in the time of turmoil. It was written in 2009, 11 years ago, but it could have easily just been written now because it's extremely relevant. When everything changes, change everything. I'm telling you, books can get you through so much. Wisdom can get you through so much. Other people's wisdom. I stand on the shoulder of giants. That's what I think it was. I don't remember who said that. Isaac Newton, I think, said that. One of the greatest geniuses of all times. I'm great because I stand on the shoulders of giants. And when we read other people's books, not all of them, of course, you have to use discretion. It can help you get through a lot of stuff. I started reading self-help books when I was a teenager. And I'll tell you, if I have any success in my life, I owe it all to self-help books. Not all of it, but I owe a lot of it to self-help books and psychology and understanding how the mind works. And that's really, really important. And even though we focus on nutrition a lot, and I love chemistry, really, the power of the mind and the power of the emotions, the power of the psychology, if you will, mind and emotions being psychology, is really, really critical. It's a major point of leverage, how we perceive things. I did my moment of truth on how we perceive things today. By the way, our moments of truth are up on our Facebook page, The Bright Side with Pharmacist Ben. Also, a lot of them are up on criticalhealthnews.com, and you can check out the longevity products at criticalhealthnews.com and pharmacistben.com and brightsideben.com. And this is an awesome awesome time to think about a home-based business. We human beings have amazing, amazing powers. We are in a challenging time, not an impossible time, a challenging time. We are being challenged. We are being challenged to be great, to step up. And while it may be scary, it's an opportunity at the same time. Remember, crisis means opportunity. Human beings have amazing latent powers. Latent meaning we don't know we have them until push comes to shove. There's a famous story of a frog that gets caught in a rut. And he can't get out of the rut, and all the other animals come by. Nobody wants to help him get out of the rut. I'm going to cut to the chase here. And a little while later, the animals come back, and there's the frog, and he's sunning himself at the edge of a rock, and he's enjoying himself. And he says, all the other animals say, "We thought you were stuck in that rut." And the frog says, "I was." He says, "How the heck did you get out then?" The frog says, "Well, I had to. A logging truck was coming." I hope I didn't ruin that story too badly, but the point is that when we get in a rut and we get stuck and a logging truck comes along, we're going to jump. And that's what the human being is capable of. This is not an impossible time. It's a challenging time. We're being challenged to be great. We're being challenged to create. We're being challenged to be great, and we're being challenged to create, to generate. This is what this is about. This is about generating a solution. This is about creating a solution. Is it hard? Yeah, but you could also say challenging. Hard depends on your perspective. The big problem here is going to be money, because this coronavirus thing is really, I'm not going to get into that except to say that the big problem here is going to be economic. And this is why a home-based business, if you've never thought of it before, or if you have thought of it before but haven't done it, now's the time. And Youngevity provides you with a powerful opportunity to help improve lives at the health level and to improve lives, including yours, at the financial level. A home-based, what we're going to be going through here now, and it's going to go on for a little bit, is a golden opportunity to start a home-based business. And at the very least, it's a golden opportunity for you to start supplementing. And we wouldn't be in this pickle in the first place if we took care of our health. We are in this bind not because of a virus. We're in this bind because we are a vector. It's not the virus, it's the vector. That's an important lesson right there. It's not the virus, it's a vector. A virus is a piece of information. It needs a vector. It needs something to allow it to move, to grow. It needs something to carry it. We are that something because we have been sloppy. And we have not, collectively, perhaps not present company, we have been sloppy collectively as a culture with our health. And I find it very ironic that now McDonald's and fast food and deep fried foods, Kentucky Fried Chicken and Denny's and all these, this is where we're going to be eating now. This is where the masses of Americans are going to be. Not present company excluded, because you guys are different, but the masses of Americans are going to be eating more McDonald's, more Taco Bell. And hopefully they'll be supplementing, but because of all the misinformation that's out there and disinformation that's out there, a lot of people aren't even going to be supplementing. But if you're interested in helping spread the word about the power and importance of a good nutritional supplement program, getting on a good nutritional supplement program yourself, this is a golden opportunity. Call 866-735-2470 for more info, or head to brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. We have Deke Copenhaver coming up at the bottom of the hour. We'll get your calls next segment, 844-236-6010, 844-236-6010. And we're going to talk to Deke about being a change maker. We'll get your calls next segment, 844-236-6010. I want to talk about a couple nutritional supplements also before we get to our calls. Let's see. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back right after this. side. Pharmacist Ben here, 844-236-6010 is our number, and we have lines open for you. We've got Deke Copenhaver. It's hard to say. Former mayor of Augusta and also now a motivational speaker coming up at the bottom of the hour. We'll get your calls here this segment. Deke talks about being a leader. If you want to be a leader, you have to help people deal through, and yourself get through change. Change is what it's all about here, and this is just a challenging change, and it's going to create a lot of domino effect changes in our culture, in the way we do business, especially a lot of changes on the way. In fact, I would say that we have crossed a threshold. We're almost in like a parallel, in a new reality, a completely different reality. We've crossed a threshold. I would say it's already been done, and there will be permanent changes from now moving forward, which means we have to come up with new ideas. We have to come up with new ways of doing things. All right, 844-236-6010 is our number. I wanted to talk about elderberry real quick. I keep reading about elderberry. I've known about elderberry in the pharmacy world for 30 years. It's not new. We're just starting to hear a lot about it. It's not like it's like a ridiculously important thing, elderberry. It's just one of these things that sometimes becomes a fad. It's now in the fad stage. Yes, it's good. It's helpful. It's got polyphenols. It's very rich. You can tell by looking at it that it's going to be very good for the immune system. It's going to be very good for metabolism because you could tell the color. That's called anthocyanins. Proanthocyanins and anthocyanins. These pigments, especially the purple, are extremely powerful. They have tremendous vibrational properties. Purple vibrates at the fastest speed of any color. It's super vibrational, and elderberry is not just purple; it's really rich purple, violet purple. It's just a beautiful, beautiful fruit, and it's also very vibrationally active. So, but that being said, it's not like elderberry is like the end-all and be-all. There's lots of things that you can use. There's lots of plant material that you can use to help you. Help support your immune system. It's not just elderberry. For example, astragalus is really helpful. I don't know how many of you guys have ever heard of astragalus. I use it in my blemish repair complex, a derivative of astragalus or a fraction of astragalus. Astragalus has got really powerful immune boosting properties. But again, it's not like, and this is the way it is with most herbs, it's not like, one herb is the way to go. You want a whole balance of plants. You want a whole balance of veggies. Yes, elderberry can be very helpful for respiratory infections, but, astragalus builds up the whole immune system. Turkey tail also is good for the respiratory system. Mushrooms are amazing. In fact, they're specifically antiviral. I mean, there's lots of things in nature. This is why what I was saying before I went to break is we've created a vector for the virus. Now we can prevent ourselves from getting infected. We can inoculate ourselves with a protective mechanism by taking care of our health, and eating mushrooms is a great way to do it, and using astragalus is a great way to do it, and using garlic and onion is a great way to do it. It's not like elderberry is the end-all and be-all, but elderberry happens to have some polyphenols. It's also good for respiratory clogs, for mucus. It's got mucolytic properties. It helps break up mucus. There's a lot of good things about elderberry, but it's not like it's the end-all and be-all. There's lots of important things. Now, I should also tell you that herbs are not going to be as important as straight nutritional supplements, particularly zinc. Although somebody did tell me that it's becoming difficult to find zinc. I understand why. If anything, and I don't like ever saying that one nutritional supplement is like, just take one. But if you had to take one, the good case could be made for zinc and vitamin C, probably. I don't ever say, I don't like the idea of using nutritional supplements like drugs. Nonetheless, there are some that do have that kind of property. They're that potent, and zinc picolinate is one of them. I was listening to somebody talk about zinc gluconate. Somebody I respected, I forgot who it was. I think it might have been Greg Braden. He was talking about zinc sulfate and zinc acetate, and you got to be really careful. Not all zincs are going to work the same in your body, and some will just make you sick. And zinc acetate and zinc gluconate and zinc sulfate will just make you sick. You might get some zinc benefits from them, but that's the cheapo zinc. What you want to look for is zinc picolinate, which is also pretty cheap. In fact, zinc is probably one of the cheapest, if not the cheapest mineral element, especially for what you're getting. You're talking pennies a day, literally 3-4 cents a day. All right. 844-236-6010 is our number. Check out all our longevity products as well as good health information at criticalhealthnews.com. My moments of truth are up there. criticalhealthnews.com, pharmacistben.com, and brightsideben.com. And if you haven't checked pharmacistben.com out lately, my webmaster Robert has done an amazing job with that, so you might want to take a look there. Pharmacistben.com, criticalhealthnews.com, or brightsideben.com. And don't forget truthtreatments.com for our True Skin Health products. All right, let's go to Barry real quick. We got Deke Copenhaver coming up at the bottom of the hour. What's up, Barry? Barry.
Hello.
Hello. What do you got for us today, Barry? Barry is not hearing me. Barry? Barry? Can you hear me, Barry?
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Yeah, all right. Look, I'm hoping I don't have this problem with my phone, but if I do...
you better go quick. Just go quick, and we'll deal with it if it comes up.
I want you to comment on all of oregano, how effective it would be in dealing with this virus. And I think you've already answered my question about zinc. But if there's... I'd like to know what's the dosage of zinc one would need to take.
50 milligrams is a standard dose. It's not going to be... zinc has to get transported into the cell. So in order for that, and you don't need very much in the cell, but in order to make sure you're getting it in the cell, you got to drive it in the bloodstream, drive it into the cell with what are relatively high doses. 50 milligrams a day is what you need. Now, oil of oregano is very interesting. Dr. Kaz Ingram, he talks about it all the time on this program. I'm having him come, I think next week we'll have Kaz on, or maybe the week after. Anyway, oregano oil's got amazing healing properties. Amazing properties for stabilizing blood sugar. It's got I don't want to say kills cancer, but it suppresses cancer. It's antifungal, antimicrobial. It's got tremendous value for a lot of things. So it's probably antiviral too. But this antiviral is not a strategy for dealing with the virus. It's not going to hurt you. Oregano oil is not going to hurt you. And if you have the virus, maybe it'll speed up your healing. It'll help your body, fight off the virus. But you really want to focus on nutrition and being nutritionally sound and using not medicines, but using lifestyle choices. Oregano oil is helpful. I'm not going to say it's not going to be helpful if you have the virus or if you want to prevent, but really focus on vitamin C and zinc and exercise and breathing and psychological strategies. They're way more important than oregano oil. But that being said, if you want to throw everything into the mix, yes, oregano oil, elderberry, astragalus, garlic. Well, garlic and onion you should definitely do. But you can throw in all the plant materials that have sage, thyme, that have medicinal properties. Does that make sense, Barry? Cayenne also?
Yes.
If you want to throw everything into the mix, yes, add in oregano oil. But I don't want anybody to think it's as fundamental as vitamin C. Does that make sense? Or zinc, for that matter. Okay, thank you so much for your call, Barry. Be well, stay healthy. And we got Deke Copenhaver, former mayor of Augusta, Georgia, and now a motivational speaker who's going to have some relevant things to say in this time when we can all use motivation. Coming up in our next segment. Thanks for listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back right after this. On the bright side, I am Pharmacist Ben, and we're on the air Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 Pacific and 10 to 11 Central, and on the archive page and listen live page at brightsideben.com and pharmacistben.com and criticalhealthnews.com for all the longevity products, videos, news, stories, blog posts, lots of good health information, free health information up at criticalhealthnews.com, pharmacistben.com, and brightsideben.com. And I'm very excited to have our next guest on. Mayor Deke Copenhaver, former mayor of Augusta, Georgia, now motivational speaker and a very powerful motivational speaker. I have to say I've been checking out his TED Talk and his website, Deke, Deke-Copenhaver.com, Copenhaver, just like it sounds, Deke-Copenhaver.com. Deke speaks about being a change maker in business. He's got a book called The Change Maker, The Art of Building Better Leaders, and I'm sure Mayor Deke has some words of wisdom for us in this time of great change, some would say turmoil. Welcome to the bright side, Mayor Deke.
Ben, thank you so much for having me on today.
And thank you for taking the time to be on. So we are in, as they say in the that old Chinese curse, may you live in interesting times, right?
True.
We're in a very interesting time. And so tell us about how being a better leader can help us individually in our, not just being a motivational speaker type of leader, but in terms of being a leader in our families, being a leader with our friends, being a leader with our circle, our community, whatever it is, wherever we are. How can we use your skill set or the skill set you teach in this time of turmoil/change?
Ben, I will tell you, we're all leaders in some way, shape, or form, whether it's in your family, it's in your community, in your business, and particularly during times of crisis. And one of the things that I've shared with people is that, being a good leader during times of crisis is about maintaining your composure. I've often told people that I basically draw the analogy to if I'm on a flight and we hit turbulence and you look at the flight attendant and she looks calm, I'm fine. But if you look at the flight attendant and she seems to be nervous, I get a little nervous myself. So to maintain your composure for your family, for your friends, for your community, for your business is absolutely key. And we will get through this. We've gone through difficult times in the past. Nobody of our generation has seen anything like this, but we will get through it, and we will get through it together. And one thing that I would say is just to everybody listening to my voice, it seems overwhelming, like you can't do things at this point in time. I mean, we're having to be separated from each other. But truly, if there are people in your neighborhood, in your community, in your family, particularly those that are isolated, alone, check in with them, and if they need food, bring it to them, particularly the elderly, but we can all take care of each other at this point.
That's really beautifully said. I've been talking about how this is just a challenge for us to be great. How can we connect with each other? How can we form community? How can we relate better to each other? This could be a time for us all to get together and be looking back on it 20 years from now or 10 years from now, say, man, we handled that really well. We really were great at that.
And that's what I think is important now. And I really feel for the younger generation who, a lot of them were around during 9/11, and they might not really remember the financial meltdown in 2008 and the subsequent Great Recession. So this is really the first global event that they're facing. But adversity can build stronger leaders, and that's, when I look and you talk about community, I've always told people you can't spell community without unity, and that's every platform I've ever had, whether it be in office. I had a call-in radio show for a year. Writing this book is about building stronger communities, and that is of the utmost importance. Now, I had a Zoom call with two colleagues in Australia over the weekend that amazing ladies. One, Carrie Grace, she's a regional development CEO in New South Wales. So she's been dealing with the bushfires since October, and to sort of come out of that and go into this. But her attitude was so positive, and she focuses on that building community in that situation. That's what we all need right now.
Isn't that amazing how, in a way, we're separate, but in another way, through the power of the internet and the power of sharing these ideas, we can actually become tighter. We can become more of a community from this. This can kind of impel us or direct us into becoming more community-oriented.
Absolutely, and it's interesting. Social networking can be good and bad, and it can be used for good and bad, but the way I connected with Carrie Grace and her colleague Zoe Ether in Australia was actually through LinkedIn. So Carrie, back during the fall, had posted something about what it was like to deal with the bushfires, and I'm just sending an encouraging word to her. Well, she then downloaded my book and then reached out to me and let me know that she was using it as a tool to help her deal with the bushfires. So I think that just illustrates that we are a global community, and that's what the humanity of the situation is what connects us, because as a global community, this pandemic is impacting everybody.
And I love how you said that it could be used for good or bad, because the bad part of the internet, social networking, that gets a lot of press. But the good part is somebody in Australia can download your book in a way they couldn't 20 years ago. Can you imagine the difference in how you get your information out and how you could motivate people across the globe in the last 10 years, 15 years?
Oh,
I mean,
it's
right?
incredible. I'll share another story with you. So last fall, the University of Texas El Paso Student Engagement and Leadership Center found my book organically and incorporated it into a powerful Pages program that they had fall semester. And I had no clue about this. So all of a sudden on Instagram, I see pictures of students throwing themselves up, doing selfies, reading my book. So I reached out to them and was able to actually video conference in for their last meeting, which was November 20th, which was my birthday, and give them words of encouragement. But I had a young lady named EU who's from Vietnam, and she said, I have a tear in my eye because you've given me faith in government again.
That's awesome.
So I subsequently ended up going out there and speaking. It'll be 3 weeks ago tomorrow, so it was right before the world changed. But I shared with the students that, and for your listeners, I didn't know this, and I might not have published a book had I known this, but there are 8,000 books published a day.
Whew.
And so the odds of anything being successful, but I shared with the students, I said, the odds of you guys finding my book are infinitesimal, but you did, and I'm here. So there's still good in the world, and I want to highlight those good stories. And I'm so glad that the timing of that I was able to give those students at UTEP words of encouragement right before this happened, and I've stayed in touch with them since.
Do you feel like this is, in a way, this is like for somebody like you or people who really want to be helpers in the world, this is our time to shine. This is our time to just, we were called for this in a way. I mean, you were doing great motivational work before, but now this is you. This is your time, Mayor D, correct?
I believe so, and I believe we all have a calling on our lives, and I pray every day. I'm like, Lord, not my plan, but your purpose for me. So,
well said.
Carrie,
we got to take a break. We got to take a quick break. Hold on to that thought. We're talking to Mayor Deke Copenhaver, former mayor of Augusta, Georgia, and the author of The Changemaker, The Art of Building Better Leaders. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back with more of Mayor Deke right after this. We are back on The Bright Side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. We're talking to Mayor Deke Copenhaver, former mayor of Augusta, Georgia, and author of The Changemaker, The Art of Building Better Leaders. His website is deke-copenhaver.com, deke-copenhaver.com. Mayor Deke, so you said something really cool in the last segment. You were talking about this idea of being calm and how that's sort of it sort of resonates through other people, because I know what you're talking about. Sometimes when I see somebody else calm, I feel calm. So tell us about that in relationship to the media, and what do you have to say to people who are watching the news? Because really, if composure and calm, what you need is calmness and composure. The media is like the polar opposite of that. So what do you say to people who are watching the news and who are kind of getting information about what's going on from anchor people and the media and CNN and Fox News and all that stuff?
I would say take breaks from it. I when this whole thing first started, I was constantly checking my phone. But what I realized is that the stories don't change much. I mean, there can be different slants or biases from different news outlets, but really, I take a break from it. I try to get in 30 minutes of exercise a day. And that's something that I think everybody needs, some sort of routine, if possible, and some, as best you can, some sense of normalcy. But I would just recommend don't just constantly watch TV or check your phone, because that does not help to calm you at all.
I liked what you said also about something seeming overwhelming. Like sometimes when something new, like when you're learning a new skill set, like riding a bike maybe, or I'm trying to learn something new on the internet, I'm trying to take classes on the internet for a specific subject, and it seems overwhelming at first, but gradually as you keep doing things, it becomes less and less overwhelming until it becomes like riding a bike. You just get on, you don't even think about it.
Exactly, and that's one of the things that I've considered in this situation is really we've got to get to a point of acceptance. And life, at least, the very least for the next couple of months, is not going to be as we've known it. And the faster we can all accept that, it's, the world has changed. And that's one of the things that I've made the point of for so long, is that in the fast-changing world, we have to be able to pivot and adapt at a moment's notice. This is the greatest example of that. But I think so often people just cling to the status quo and just say, well, but we've always done it this way. Well, at this point in our world's history, we can't continue to do it the same way. So the faster we can accept that and adapt to the situation, I think the better we're going to be mental health-wise and physical health-wise as well.
I believe, don't you think that we really have a latent ability to do that anyway, to kind of generate ideas and solutions and create things from whole cloth? I mean, it's built into us to do that.
It is, and I always try to put things into perspective. So I'm the youngest of 5 children. So my father flew B-17 bombers in World War II. And I went back and was looking at so he's a teenager flying B-17 bombers over Europe in World War II. At one point in time, the mortality rate for B-17 bomber crews was 89%.
Oh.
And so that tells me that, that is in our DNA, to be able to adapt to change. I can't imagine being a teenager, doing that when he did it, but he did it. And I think World War II obviously helped produce the greatest generation. I believe part of my book is really about fostering and mentoring the next generation. But I believe that the greatest generation could be out there again through a situation like this.
That's amazing, because that was, when you think about a kid who's 19 years old flying a bomber, I mean, the way you said that, I mean, that's an amazing, that shows an amazing, a deep well of capability and competence, like really deep for a 19-year-old to be able to do that. And we all, I mean, he wasn't the only one who did. A lot of people did that. We can dig deep. We have an amazing potential if we really go down into into our souls, basically, and change things at that level.
Well, and I'll get into the social media again. It can be used for bad or good, but I look at this generation and I see what I'm seeing on Instagram, and young people are posting such positive, videos and memes, and they're so used to having to adapt to change because they've had to do it their whole lives. But on the plus side, social networking is keeping them connected to each other.
I love that. And it's also teaching them discretion. Like, they have to kind of see what makes sense and what's right and what's wrong. You have to have a judgment. You have to be wise as a serpent with social media. It teaches you that, doesn't it?
It does, and that's I blog for Forbes. Forbes is my publisher, but I did a blog last week called Leadership in Crisis. And it's so important for all of us, and I would say misinformation can be like an infection. If people don't vet what they're forwarding, and misinformation can obviously not lead to people being composed, but I would recommend, and you're exactly right, before you forward anything, fact check it first, because I've seen a lot of situations where misinformation has gotten out there, and misinformation, when it gets out there, can be damaging. It can be damaging to businesses, to communities, so always fact check and take a deep breath before you put that post up.
And isn't it interesting how the virus itself is information?
It truly is, and it's going to be, it'll be interesting to see how this thing plays out. But I would say, so I was mayor when the last stimulus package was passed. So that was $831 billion. This is $2.2 trillion. But one thing I can say to your listeners is, for the federal government to write the rules and regulations at the same time that they're passing the largest, spending bill in the history of the nation, it's going to be a little bit unwieldy. And I know people are really concerned about their businesses, their communities at this point in time, but just understand that it's going to be a little unwieldy to deal with for everybody.
What does that mean, unwieldy?
Well, I'll give you an example. So we applied for money in the stimulus package back in 2009. So the regular route would have been for our local governing body to approve the grant application before it was submitted. But there was no time to do that based on the grant deadline, so I signed off on it. Mm-hmm. And it just, because there was no other way and I wasn't going to put millions of dollars at risk, but the situation, because it was not the usual norm and, you had to get it in by the deadline, it caused a lot of consternation with the governing body, with the neighborhood that the funds would apply to. But that's just one example of they kind of have to write the rules and regs on the fly as they go along. So
it's complexity.
It's just difficult.
You're talking about like complexity. There's all these working parts to the kind of thing. Yeah, and you may not even be able to predict some of the working parts because it may be like domino effect kind of things. Exactly. And that's always interesting. Yeah, $2.2 trillion. How's that going to affect the future, do you think?
Nobody knows at this point, and we have not ever seen anything like this, and I'm hopeful that it will help. What we really need to do, based on the science, and I would say that's in leadership positions, it's more important to know what you don't know than what you do know, and to surround yourself with people that make up where you fall short. We need to get back to business when the science says we can. I would stress that these decisions need to be made by professionals. I know that politics factor into them, but I always listen to the experts, and I think that's crucial in leadership roles now.
Okay, we got about a minute. Words of wisdom for somebody who has a business, who's wondering what to do, who's scared. Just give us a minute of D. Copenhaver pearls of wisdom.
Once again, stay calm, and one of the great things we're seeing in Augusta is people are really supporting local businesses. Not every business is going to make it through this, but there is help on the way from the federal government. So the Small Business Act is delivering some help, and so be patient, be mindful, keep a watch on that to see how the situation plays out. Talk to your accountants, talk to professionals with regards to how to handle this. They can give you better advice than I can, but it's a difficult time. But just keep a good attitude as best you can. A positive attitude is something that's a major, major force in this situation.
Thank you so much, Mayor Deek. Words of Wisdom, The Changemaker, The Art of Building Better Leaders is his book. Mayor Deek's got some really cool things to say. Also has a great blog, by the way, at Deek, D-E-K-E-Copenhaver, COPENHAVER.com. Thanks so much, Deek. Take care, buddy. Be well. Be strong.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. All right, that was Mayor Deek Copenhaver, and his book is The Changemaker, The Art of Building Better Leaders. And that's what I've been saying all along, people. This is our time to shine. This is our time to be great leaders, to stay calm, like the flight attendant. I love that story about the flight attendant because it is true. If you look at the flight attendant, when she's calm, you're calm. So, all right. That's it for now. Thanks for listening to The Bright Side. Our website's brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, and criticalhealthnews.com for longevity products, TruthTreatments.com for all our Truth Skin Health products. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Have a beautiful, wonderful, awesome, spectacular day. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye for now.